everyone, it's Julia from Talk and Play. This is my second live broadcast. Last week or last time I spoke to you about masking scene. And today I'm thinking about taking on another sense. And today's focus and the focus of this mail out, our newsletter, is around feeling heard. So I'm a firm believer that we begin to heal when we're truly hurt. So how I want to relate to that today is I want to give a bit of feedback or support and strategies to parents to help them connect with and maybe understand their kiddos. So there's an acronym that I have a picture on. Hearing ears sounds like a great sort of tool to remember. So ears stands for E, empathize, A, affirm, R, relate, and S, suggest. So how might that look if you're talking to a kiddo? So imagine your kiddo has gotten upset or frustrated that maybe you ask them to do something and again and again, and your tone has escalated and you've now drawn the line and your child is escalated now as well. Maybe they've become frustrated. Maybe they're telling you they're really frustrated. You're starting to see the physical symptoms in their body that they're really agitated. So as a parent, we kind of have, I would say there's a couple of go-to approaches that I've used and witnessed with parents. So there's I want to make sure my kid's a good kid, and I want to teach them that when you're spoken to, you react. When I talk, you listen. So there's that sense of control maybe, or there's a sense of wanting them to obey. Another approach with some parents is about respect. When I speak, you listen. And I think the reason I'm wanting to address this topic today is that whether I'm meeting with a 2, 3, 4-year-old kiddo, or whether I'm talking to a teenager or a parent or more of an elder adult, I meet with everyone and listen to everyone the same. I don't have you're a little person, so what you say isn't important, or you're my elder, therefore I hold what you say with great respect. I greatly respect and I hear with my ears everyone. So what that might look like, coming back to that sort of idea that I had about that little kiddo that was starting to get really escalated because mom or dad raised their voice and that hit somewhere in the heart of that little kiddo, and now that kiddo's got some feelings. And maybe the kiddo had some feelings ahead of time. Maybe the kiddo was already upset because of something that had happened with a sibling, or that they're missing their friends and this is the only screen time that they get with them and they don't want it to end, or they're struggling overall. I think there's been a lot of focus in society on how to help adults mitigate and sort of work through this pandemic, but less support and discussion around how are kids handling it? How are we supporting kids through this? So where I want to sort of direct or guide parents at this point is to really use your ears when you're checking in with your kids. So if your child is not responding the first time you're speaking to them, or you're sensing a little bit of attitude, or all of a sudden they've escalated, instead of going, hey, cool it, and getting agitated yourself, trying to take that deep breath. And I talked about the breath last time. Take the deep breath, see what's going on for your kiddo. They have emotions just the same as you do. So take a moment and check in with them. See what's happening. Label it. I see you're a little frustrated. That's empathizing, right? You're labeling, you're identifying, you're understanding. That's what's going on. You're also helping them with their emotional growth and development at that point if you're able to put the word of the feeling on what you're seeing. I see you're starting to get a little frustrated. Another breath. I get that and I understand it. So that's the affirm part, right? You're acknowledging that that's an okay feeling for them. It's not bad. It's not wrong. I get it. I see you. You're frustrated. I get that. I totally understand it. You relate. I have a tough time too when I have to disconnect from my friends or when things don't happen the way I want them to. I get frustrated too. And then you suggest. So I wonder if there's a way that we could go about this different because I don't want to be in conflict with you. So I hear you're frustrated. I get it. I understand. You don't like coming off the computer because your friends are there. You really miss your friends. You're used to seeing them all the time. And now you have a really limited time. I get it. I don't want to argue and fight around it. Is there a way that we can talk about a way that we can solve this or a way that this can feel better for you? That's using that ears approach. That's empathizing, affirming, relating, and suggesting or solving, depending on the age of your child. Maybe they need your help. Maybe they need you to get something and they need you to solve it. So the S can be solve or suggest, depending on the age of your child. I always try to encourage as much empowerment. So if you can help your child solve a problem, that can land even better for them on their own ability to feel empowered and confident in themselves and who they are. But if you're able to use this ears approach, not only with kids, but with your partners, if they escalate with people out in the community. And I think I've been using this a lot when I'm out with others. If I'm at the grocery store, I'm having to pick up a prescription or something like that, that not everyone is managing this pandemic the way I'm managing this pandemic. And people may get more frustrated. People may speak differently than they normally would. And instead of coming from a place of judgment, because I don't know their story, I don't know what's happening for them, I try to always use my ears and understand that I see you're having a tough time. And I get that. And I can relate because I also struggle sometimes. Is there a way that I can do this different for you? Is there a way I can be different for you? To see if we can connect in a different way. So I think that's the piece that I wanted to kind of touch in on today is using words for what we're seeing with people, labeling their feelings and acknowledging it, not judging it. I see you're having a tough time. That's okay. I see you're having a great time. That's okay too. Whatever is coming up for people is valid, is understandable in these circumstances right now. There's so much going on in our world, not just the pandemic, there's been so many, and I'm not going to name them all because they may or may not be relevant at the time of you hearing this, but there's been so many layers and layers of changes from a global issue, to racial, to gender, to laws changing. There's so much changing in our world at this point. It's hard to keep up. And depending on what pieces have impacted you as an individual or you and your circle of friends and family, each of those different pieces may resonate at a different place. And if I don't know your story, I have no right to judge it. So all I can do is use my ears and hear you and appreciate and understand where you're at in your journey and respect you. And that's what I want to send out to everyone today is a virtual hug and understanding of where you may be in your process time, and to let you know there are people around who are able to hear you, to empathize with where you're at, to understand and accept it, to validate it, and to just be there to listen and to hear. I hope that you can find some of those people in your life. And if you need support, there's so many supports in our communities, and even through the internet at this point, where people are doing virtual and phone counseling and support. So if you need to find someone who has the ears to hear you, this is a great time to reach out and look for that. Okay? Sending love, support, and understanding from me to all of you. Take care.